Did you know that our brains process around 74 gigabytes of information every single day? Most of this comes from endless digital consumption that's slowly changing the way we think and function, causing what scientists call brain rot. Studies show that the average person spends nearly 7 hours daily on digital platforms like social media and phones. These environments are designed to grab and hold your attention, keeping you hooked for hours. Every time you scroll through your feed, check notifications, or watch a video, your brain gets a small hit of dopamine. We tell ourselves things like just one more video or one last scroll, and at first it feels harmless. But this reward system traps us in a never-ending loop. Even when we are not consuming content, we feel restless and anxious because our brains have been rewired to expect constant stimulation. Research shows that this has become so severe that we now check our phones every 4 minutes on average. This overstimulation takes a serious toll on our ability to focus and engage in meaningful work. In fact, our attention spans have now shrunk to just 8.25 seconds, shorter than that of a goldfish. In this video, I will break down the science behind brain rot and, more importantly, share simple and actionable steps to help you reclaim your focus, creativity, and mental clarity. So, now that we understand how digital consumption is reshaping our minds, let's take a closer look at what's really happening in our brains. You know, our brains were never designed to handle the constant flood of information that we are exposed to today. For example, think about the first thing you do when you wake up. If it's reaching for your phone, that's where the overstimulation cycle begins. Our brain's reward system is wired to release dopamine, the feel-good chemical, when we accomplish meaningful tasks like building connections or achieving goals. But in today's digital world, every scroll, video, or notification triggers that same dopamine release hundreds of times a day. This leads to what scientists call dopamine desensitization. Simply put, your brain starts needing more and more stimulation to feel the same level of satisfaction. And just like how someone gets addicted to sugar or caffeine, your brain becomes hooked on constant digital inputs. If you're wondering whether you're overstimulated, watch out for these signs. Feeling anxious or restless when your phone is not nearby. Struggling to focus on tasks without distractions. Constantly needing background noise like music or videos, even for simple activities like eating, and finding it hard to read longer articles or books without losing focus. This overstimulation doesn't just mess with your focus, it disrupts your natural rhythms, including sleep patterns and cognitive performance. Studies even show that heavy digital users take longer to complete complex tasks compared to those with balanced habits. Understanding this mechanism is crucial because it helps us recognize that this is not about lack of willpower, it's about how our modern environment is affecting our brain's fundamental functioning. Once we understand this, we can start taking meaningful steps to restore the balance. Now, the truth is that trying to completely quiet digital consumption overnight is like running a marathon without any training, not just difficult, but unsustainable. Instead, we need to start with small, manageable changes that help our brain slowly adapt to a healthier pace. The first step is to take control of your morning routine. That first hour of the day is critical because it sets the tone for everything that follows. Instead of reaching for your phone the moment you wake up, keep it in another room. Giving yourself time to wake up without scrolling through notifications or social media allows your brain to ease into the day naturally. Think of focus as a muscle that grows stronger with practice. Start with just 30-minute blocks of uninterrupted work, and during these blocks, silence your notifications, put your phone away, and focus on one task at a time. As you build this habit, you can gradually increase these blocks to an hour or even more. Another area to tackle is your notification system. Most of us had apps fighting for our attention all day long. Take some time after this video to review your notifications and turn off anything unnecessarily. Platforms like Instagram or TikTok don't need to dictate your day. By disabling their notifications, you regain control of when and how you engage with these platforms. One small but surprisingly effective trick is switching your phone to grayscale mode. This removes the colorful triggers that make apps addictive and reduces your urge to scroll mindlessly. Pick just one of these changes to start with. Focus on mastering it before moving on to the next. Small, consistent steps are what lead to lasting progress. Now that you've taken the first steps to reduce overstimulation, the next challenge people face is not understanding that simply removing bad habits is not enough. When you take something away, you create a void, and if that void is not filled with better alternatives, you will naturally drift back to old patterns. If we don't actively replace digital habits with healthier alternatives, we will inevitably fall back into old patterns. Let's start with one of the most common habits: mindless scrolling. Instead of reaching for your phone during free moments, keep a book nearby. Reading engages your mind more deeply and helps you rebuild your attention span. Even 15 minutes of focused reading can be more satisfying and rewarding than an hour of endless scrolling. For entertainment, swap random YouTube shorts or TikTok videos for focused content like podcasts. Unlike the constant visual overload of short-form content, podcasts allow you to stay engaged while giving your eyes a break. And they are also more likely to provide meaningful insights or knowledge, making your time actually well spent. Another good habit is taking walks without distractions. No music, no podcast, just you and your thoughts. In today's hyper-connected world, we've forgotten the value of being alone with our thoughts. These quiet moments give your mind the space to wander and process, often leading to creative ideas or solutions that you might miss when being distracted. And for those moments when you would usually scroll through social media, try activities that actively engage both your hands and your mind. Journaling, drawing, or even cooking are excellent alternatives. These activities don't just distract you, they provide a sense of accomplishment and creative fulfillment. By actively replacing your digital habits with more enriching alternatives, you're not just avoiding the negatives, you're building a foundation for long-term mental clarity and focus. Now that you're actively replacing overstimulating habits, the next step is to allow your brain some genuine downtime, a concept that's almost forgotten in our fast-paced world. Instead of constantly filling every spare moment, we need to reintroduce quiet, unstructured time to let our minds naturally reset. The idea is not just to take a break, but to cultivate intentional moments of stillness. These are not distractions, but opportunities for your brain to recover and recalibrate. Start with small, manageable blocks of quiet time where you do absolutely nothing. No phones, no music, no tasks. Just sit and allow your thoughts to flow freely. It's uncomfortable at first, but this discomfort is exactly what helps your brain reduce its dependency on constant stimulation. Even during simple activities like eating or waiting in line, just resist the urge to grab your phone. Instead, observe what's happening around you or let your mind wander naturally. These small pockets of stillness help your brain process information and recharge. If sitting still feels too challenging initially, you can focus on one simple mindfulness practice. For example, spend just 5 minutes a day observing your breathing or focusing on the sounds around you. This helps your mind break free from the overstimulation loop without feeling overwhelmed. These moments of stillness are not just about doing less, they are about allowing your brain the space to think, reflect, and grow stronger. Over time, you will find yourself feeling calmer, more creative, and better equipped to focus deeply on what truly matters. With everything we talked about, you now understand how to create these positive changes, so let's talk about making them stick. The goal is to build a sustainable relationship with digital habits where you are in control and not your devices. Start by gradually increasing your digital detox periods. If you've mastered 1 hour without your phone, try extending it to 2. Think of it like building strength. You wouldn't jump straight to heavy weights, and the same applies to breaking free from overstimulation. Consider introducing digital-free weekends, and don't worry, you don't need to cut out technology entirely. Start small with just Saturday mornings and then expand to full days. Use this time to reconnect with your forgotten hobbies, spend time with your loved ones, or just simply enjoy the moments of peace without the pull of notifications. Create physical boundaries in your home by designating no phone zone, whether it's the dining table, the bedroom, or your workspace. These boundaries reinforce healthier habits and help your brain associate these spaces with focus or relaxation. And most importantly, focus on rediscovering joy in slower, more meaningful activities, whether it's reading, exercising, cooking, or having real conversations. You will notice how much more satisfying these moments become as your brain regains its natural rhythm. And that wraps up today's video. The tips I share with you are exactly what I wish someone would have told me when I was constantly drained and struggling to get through my days. If this video helped you, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give it a thumbs up. And now I want to hear from you. What's one habit that you're planning to change, or which tip are you excited to try first? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.